Hey everybody, welcome back to H&S Collectibles. This is Cody, and this is another happy belated birthday message, but this time for George Romero. So I actually looked up Monday. I was looking up something about Romero and saw that day was his birthday, February 4th, so he would have been 80 this year. Unfortunately, he passed away back in 2017, and when that happened, just a few weeks before he passed, maybe even 3 weeks before he passed, we were at a convention in Indianapolis that he was supposed to have attended, and we got to go to a 10 o'clock screening of Dawn of the Dead with an introduction by Ken Foray. So he came in the room, talked to us for a little while, sat and watched the movie with us. And the movie was done as if it had aired on the Fritz the Night Owl show. So I was not familiar with Fritz before this. I think he was a TV personality in Ohio, much like a Zachary or an Elvira type that would show movies at night. But he would interject throughout the movie at the commercial breaks and tell you trivia and things like that. Here in Indiana, we had Sammy Terry, which I'll throw a picture of up here. But Sammy Terry was, to me, an awesome part of my childhood, and I might do a video focusing on him later just to spread some awareness. But back to Romero. He was supposed to have been there, and he canceled due to being ill. And what Ken Foray told us actually was that they thought that he had a flu or a bronchitis, and it turned out to be lung cancer, and it went rather quickly, and he was gone, I think, by July 17th. So big loss to the horror world. Great guy, and a lot taller than I thought when I met him. I've seen all the bios list him at 6'4". I am 6'4", and I am here to tell you I think he was taller, or else it just seemed that way because it's again, you meet one of your heroes. So we got to meet him and get his autograph, and I'll flash that picture up here too. But just very nice guy, really cool, and of course the line was moving through. He was one of the big names that weekend, so we got a few moments with him. When you're in that much of a rush, you can't. I know I'm not going to make an impression on him, because I'm just one of 1,000 faces he sees that weekend. But you just want to tell these people how much you appreciate them and how much you admire them, and their works, and it was just truly a pleasure to meet him. I'm glad I got to do it. So I just thought I would run through my collection that is George Romero related, and show you what I got, and talk a little bit about the things that I also need to pick up. So starting with standard definition DVDs, and we'll kind of start at the beginning. So I've got Night of the Living Dead, the Elite Entertainment Edition, and this is a real good edition of this. I don't have Night of the Living Dead on Blu-ray. I just wonder how much better it could really look. I've always been satisfied with the picture on here. But this has a lot of great special features, and one of my favorite things that's on here that was on the first VHS I had of Night of the Living Dead is the parody Night of the Living Bread that some college students made as a project. It's funny. It's worth watching. So look that one up. You can probably find it on YouTube, I would say. And then this is interesting. It's Night of the Living Dead, but it's been colorized, and you can see a little bit of it on the back. It's a little odd to watch it in color. I prefer watching it in black and white, but I think I picked this up for $1.99, so why not have it? I've since gotten rid of my flip case, whatever you want to call it, the plastic tab that flips open in the paper cover of Creepshow, but I still have my standard definition of Creepshow 2, and this is Anchor Bay release. I want to pick up the Creepshow 2 Divimax edition someday, and I haven't even looked for it on Blu-ray, so I don't know if that's out there or not. Of course, Day of the Dead. One of my favorites. Love this movie, and I like this edition too because Bub's face swings over and then dropped a little booklet, but opens up into the 2 discs. This has a lot of special features. This was Anchor Bay release as well, so that was always a good one to have. And then 2 standards that I have autographed. Land of the Dead. I've shown this before in office tour videos, and I think my Big Daddy video. But Land of the Dead, signed by Eugene Clark. And we've met Eugene Clark a couple times. This was the first autograph in our collection. Wrote it out to me and my son. And then I've also got the Night of the Living Dead 1990 remake, signed by Tony Todd. So, pretty cool guy. I like talking to him. I'd like to meet him again. And he's doing photo ops now as Candyman. I'd like to get one of them. And then one more. Romero related, but just Desserts, the making of Creepshow. And I picked this up for $1. I think it was in like the dollar bin or something. It says 2 on it, but I'm pretty sure it was $1 when we got it. And my wife noticed it at a half price Books. And I just thought it was kind of neat because it's in this little sleeve. It's not in a DVD case. So I thought that was interesting. Seemed to me like it was maybe a promotional item or included in something else. So I went ahead and grabbed it. But yeah, there's the creep on the cover. And I haven't even bothered opening it because once we go over to the Blu-ray pile, I have Just Desserts on Blu-ray. So if you're a Creepshow fan, get this. It's got a lot of cool features in it. Definitely worth having. And artwork by Joel Robinson that I'll show here in a minute in more detail. So that's a good one. And then while we're at it, Creepshow, the Scream Factory little box set release. Let's see if I can get it. I still got the plastic on there. It's kind of grabbing the disc in the corner, but there it is. Disc, and you get a booklet with it, and very cool. So Creepshow is one of my favorites. It's like one of the movies that I would credit with getting me into horror. Saw it when I was very young, and it's just always a blast. Watch it every Father's Day. Then we're not staying in order here, but oh well. Survival of the Dead with the lenticular cover. I like this movie. Some people complain about it. I'll say I like the second half better than the first half of the movie. But I do enjoy this one. The only one that I don't care for in the zombie series is Diary of the Dead. Day of the Dead Blu-ray Collector's Edition from Scream Factory. I don't have the slipcase for it because I waited a long time to buy it and missed out on it. But I do really dig the alternate artwork. But I keep it with the original artwork faced outward. So. And while we're on Scream Factories, the Dawn of the Dead remake, Scream Factory, and I do have the slip for this one. And the Land of the Dead Blu-ray with the slip cover. This is a good one. And one thing about this one I liked in particular was when I got it and I put it in. If you have this one at the beginning, when you first pop it in, is a little tribute to George Romero. Not very long, but just some images of him on the set, and then birth dates and death dates. So, but kind of sweet and touching, I thought. And then one that everybody seems to be after, but I don't get it other than the fact it's out of print and rare. But the Dawn of the Dead Blu-ray, and my issue with it is, I don't care for this version. It's the theatrical version. If I had my druthers, I would pick the extended version. That's the one I like. And but I keep this in the collection. I did have, I think the Anchor Bay release of, I think it was the Anchor Bay release of Day of the Dead, but that was the grand prize in my 100 subscriber giveaway contest. And then while we're on DVDs, I've shown this a time or two before. This is my standard def copy of Dawn of the Dead. This is the Anchor Bay 4-disc set. I'm sorry about the glare. This thing is kind of a pain in the butt to take out of the box, is why I left it in. But Ken Foray, let's see, yeah, David Emge on that side, Scott Reininger on that side, Galen Ross, Tom Savini across the bottom, and then across the zombie's head is George Romero. That's what they all signed for me. We met Ken Foray at our first convention in 2012, and then we met Emge and Reininger and Ross at a separate convention later. In fact, the same convention we met George Romero at. So that's it for Blu-rays and standard definition. Now we get into a couple of figures, and I only have 2. I could do with a lot more figures, but I take that back. Actually, I have some others. So you're probably going to see an edit here in a minute. But Dr. Tongue. So this is from Amok Time Toys, their Monstars line. I've not got around to opening him yet because I want to make a special base for him that's going to incorporate that label behind him. It looks like the newspaper that said The Dead Walk. So yeah, he'll eventually get opened. And then this is a great one. This is also from Amok Time and Monstars, but it's Bub, and I've got him posed as if he's saluting. And some of the additional things he comes with a different right arm that's made to hold a pistol. He comes with a little 1911 pistol. He comes with a bucket of guts. And then inside the bucket of guts, I can't believe I haven't lost some of this stuff yet. He comes, you can't even see that, a tiny razor, so that you could pose him to reenact that scene. And then he also comes with a tiny set of headphones and a tape player. And he's got his background there where he's chained to the wall. Pretty decent detail on him, with the plaid shirt and the black jean jacket and all that. So Bub is an awesome character. I would have liked to have known what happened to Bub after the kind of massacre, if you will, at the bottom of the mine. I like to think that Bub got out and went and did something better than just stay in a cave with the other zombies. So I'm going to fade now and grab a couple more things that I forgot. Okay, so we're back in business here. Sorry about that. And I can't believe I forgot about these, because at least one of them was my favorite figure of 2019, or one of my favorite figures. And the other one was something I was real excited when I got it, but Amok Time Toys. So all these Creepshow toys are Amok Time, and there's 2 more coming, maybe 3. But Nathan's Corpse from the Father's Day episode. And I love the package. That's why I've left him in the package. He comes with an extra set of hands that are actually part of the tray of her head, Sylvia's head. And then I really like the back, and it just tells you on the back that Fluffy was coming soon. And actually, before Fluffy was released, first came out Harry and Becky from Something to Tide You Over, and there's little pieces of seaweed here that you can clip onto them. And on the back there, they tell you that Father's Day is available, and then you got Leslie Nielsen laughing. And it says, "I can hold my breath for a long time." Leslie Nielsen, everybody always just remembers him for Naked Gun and Airplane and things like that, but I thought it was an incredible performance by him in this, and especially that scene when he goes from crying to laughing. I love that, and I think, to me, I mean, I'm not an actor, but I would think to pull that off would be difficult. And then Fluffy and his crate. So that came out this year. There he is inside. I've got a separate video on him, but he's posable and what have you. And you got little padlocks on the chain. One that I actually just dropped, so I'll pick that up when the video's over. So that's it for the figures, just the 5 figures. I could stand to have a lot more Romero related figures if I could. So this is a Joel Robinson print. You can get this over at artpusher.net. Check out Joel. He does great work, and he's a cool guy. If you can talk to him at a convention, do it. But I really like this print because you've got Romero, Savini, and Stephen King with the moss growing on him, setting on the crate. Sorry about that glare. Then you've got Nathan's tombstone, Sylvia's head on the platter, the shovel and the TV buried at the beach. The roaches are crawling out of the trash can that the comic book ends up in, and they're all setting on top of the crate. So it really pulls everything together. I'll save this one for last, I think. This is another Joel Robinson print of Nathan carrying Sylvia's head, and I had this one signed by John Amplis. Met him at a convention, super nice guy. I spent a lot of time standing and talking with him and Daryl Ferrucci, and Ferrucci helped out Savini on the effects, and in some couple scenes I think played Fluffy and wore the suit. So I didn't have Ferrucci sign anything, but I did get a picture with him. Really nice guy as well. My son actually bought a Fluffy shirt off of him, one like he's wearing in the picture. But he wrote, Cody and Sam, I got my cake, John Amplis. And this is Joel's signature over here. Really like that print. Then this I bought off an artist that, of course, I cannot tell you their name. Initials are JAS in the corner. But it's kind of a water art or watercolor kind of print of Flyboy. I just liked how it looked. And I think the guy was selling copies for like $8 or something, so I got it. I like it. It's one of the cool ones that I keep on the wall right over here behind me and underneath the Kane Hodder machete. This is another Joel print. It's not solely Romero related, but if you look, there's Nicotero from Survival, Hare Krishna Zombie, Savini from Land of the Dead, Tarman, and Fulci's Zombie. You know, are not Romero, but right there is the Machete Zombie from Dawn of the Dead. There's Bub. There's the one in the sweater from Dawn of the Dead. There's Dr. Tongue. There's Jack from Werewolf in London, and then back there in the back is Nathan's corpse from Creepshow. So just a lot of zombies in one shot. And if you look further back even, there's the nurse from Dawn of the Dead. There's the one that got his head cut off by the chopper. Really like this print. It's a cool one. And again, that's another Joel Robinson piece. And let's see, a couple more autographs here. So at the last convention I went to back in August, when I met the Phantasm crew, I also got to meet Judith O'Day. And Judith, of course, played Barbara in the original Night of the Living Dead. She was just a treat to talk to. I spent probably, 10 or 15 minutes talking to her. Because it was the first night I was there, Friday night. That's usually the slowest night at a con, and she just had the time, and she was willing to chat with me, so had a good time. And then 2 more autographs and one thing that I like. So I had these autographs prior, and I picked up the newspaper at that last con, but it is the Dead Walk newspaper. And when I got it, it looked almost new. I took it, I crinkled it up, I spilled tea on it, I spilled coffee on it, got it wet a few times, kept crinkling it up. I wanted it to really look beat up to be in this frame. And then I went ahead and threw the pictures in the frame. I'm going to change how this is done because I hate how these look like they're just laid in there. I think at some point I want to make a custom wood frame for them, but I've got Lori Cardill's autograph, and the quote from the movie that she wrote for me was, she wrote to Cody, "Yes sir, fuck you sir," that she yelled at Captain Rhodes. And then Howard Sherman, we met him at the same con we met her at, and he wrote, "Cody and Sam, eat it raw. Howard Sherman, bub." So I keep that up on the wall, actually above the Kane Hodder signed machete. And then the last piece, just because it's a little bit more personal, is a drawing of the cover of Land of the Dead. And I really like this one because my son drew it for me. I've always thought he was a pretty good artist, and I just really like it. So he made that for me in art class, I think when he was in 6th or 7th grade, one of the two, 7th grade I think. And I've got it hanging up here in the office. So that's it for the collection, actually. Now, things that I want to look for, or things that I regret not having. I eventually want to get Terry Alexander's autograph, who played John, the helicopter pilot in Day of the Dead. I know that he's still on the con circuit. The guy, I'm sorry I'm drawing a blank on the name, but the guy who played McDermott, the guy who plays Steele. I don't know if the guy who plays Rickles is still alive or not, but those are some guys I'd like to get. But I'm most upset or regretful that I never got to meet Joe Pilato before he passed away. Of course, he played Captain Rhodes, just the ultimate, military dick in a movie. Really liked him, and wish I could have met him and got an autograph from him. So that's it for autograph related. Couple things I'm looking to pick up as soon as I can grab them or find them is I want to get Monkey Shines. I want to get a copy of Night Riders, and I've got the Arrow release of the Crazies sitting in my Amazon cart. I'll eventually pull the trigger. I just let things sit and linger for a while. So there's a few movies here and there I want to grab, but this is my Romero collection. So comment below, let me know what you think. Is there anything you like that you saw? Anything in particular? Anything that you might want a closer look at? One of my review plans eventually is going to be the Dawn of the Dead, or Living Dead trilogy, which is Night of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Because that was one of my requests in my contest videos. So anyway, happy birthday to George. That's it for me for tonight. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.